Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wildcat Stadium for high school football. The Fort Payne Wildcats against the Scottsboro Wildcats. Fort Payne and Scottsboro about ready to tee it up. But before we do that, let's go down to the field for the playing of the national anthem by the Scottsboro Marching Band. Scottsboro High School Marching Band with our national anthem. Roger Engel, Fort Payne and Scottsboro, anytime they get together, it's an important game, but this is a more important game, I would think, for Fort Payne than it is for Scottsboro.
Probably Scottsboro-Fort Payne has been the biggest rivalry each has had throughout the years. So recently when kind of North Jackson, I guess, or Fort Payne has kind of supplanted really Scottsboro as being our biggest rival. Of course, it means a lot more tonight with a possible playoff spot still available for Fort Payne.
Fort Payne only lost one game in area play. Scottsboro's already lost a couple, so you would think Scottsboro might be out of the playoff picture. Fort Payne still controls their own destiny. If they can win out, then they would have a they would be in the playoffs. So Fort Payne, probably not the case for Scottsboro, but Scottsboro and Fort Payne, anytime they get together, it should be exciting. All these games have been. We're still about 10 minutes away from the kickoff, so let's take our last break as we get ready for the kickoff on the Wildcat Sports Network.
How do you fall in love? The Alabama Band Fan Club at the...
For both teams are at midfield for the coin toss, and we'll try to get that coin toss for you in just a minute. But let's quickly run through this starting lineup. First of all, for the Scottsboro Wildcats, Scottsboro will start a sophomore, Drew McNutt, in there at quarterback. He's a 5'8", 150-pounder, been doing an excellent job for this Scottsboro team, has completed 36% of his passes and 2 touchdowns. The fullback is Crandall Strong. Strong has rushed the ball 89 times this year for 574 yards. He's the fullback. Brian Stewart will be the tailback. Stewart has rushed for 590 yards. They had all 3 of these youngsters to run for over 100 yards last week against Buckhorn. The center will be Jonathan McNutt, number 57, a 5'10", 182-pound senior. The guards are Jan Penny and John Horingstein. The tackles are Heath Phillips and Cole Wade. And here comes the Scottsboro Wildcats on the field. The tight end is Michael Messersmith. Split end is Stephen Johnson, and the wingback is William Talk. Fort Payne will counter with that same lineup they've had most of the year. They'll start Kenny Chadwick at the quarterback position. Justin Garmany will be your fullback, or Jonathan Dreyer. We've also seen an awful lot of Chris Mitchell. Tailback, of course, will be number 1, Darrell Prater. Darrell has had an outstanding year. Darrell has 89 carries for 627 yards. And Scottsboro has won the coin toss, and they have elected to receive. So Scottsboro will get the ball first. Fort Payne will have their option to start this second half. Jonathan Dreyer for the Wildcats has rushed for 163 yards on 28 carries. The line will consist of Brian Jones at center, Zane Hardinger and Bo Wilson are the guards, Rory Jones and Dustin Hills are the tackles. The tight end is Heath Owen. The split end is Justin Pate. Alex Igo is also going to see a lot of time in there, as will number 83, Thomas Ross. And Fort Payne will be on defense. They'll start Jeremy Taylor, the nose guard. Dustin Hill and Will Stevens will be the tackles. The ends are Brian Jones and Brett Middlebrook. But we're also going to see an awful lot of Gary Wright in there at the end position. Linebackers, the strength of this Wildcat team, Jonathan Dreyer and Zane Hardinger. Quarterbacks are Anthony Thompson. And across the way, we see Jonathan Dreyer, Roger, just now coming on the field.
Yeah, the other members of the team have been out at least about 5 minutes, and Jonathan just now coming out with a couple of the assistant coaches.
The Fort Payne will kick it away. Kenny Chadwick lines it up on the 40-yard line to get this thing underway. Scottsboro dressed all in black. Fort Payne with those white shirts and gold pants on, the gold helmets. Brian Stewart will stand around his own 5-yard line for the Scottsboro Wildcats. On the near side will be Don Webb. On the far side will be Kenny Hill. So Fort Payne and Scottsboro about ready to get it underway as Kenny Chadwick waits on the referee's whistle, and from Pat Trammell Memorial Stadium, this one is just about underway. Here's the whistle, and Kenny Chadwick approaches, got his toe into it, and knocked a short one. It's going to be Stewart's going to come up and catch it on the 10, right up the middle of the 15, 20, 25-yard line. Got hit there by Crabtree and knocked down around the 28-yard line. So Scottsboro will go in business at their own 28-yard line. David Crabtree's been in on an awful lot of special teams play for the Wildcats. He'll mark it to 29.
Also, last week, Larry had 3 turnovers. David, I think he got 2 fumbles and intercepted 1 pass.
McNutt, Strong, and Stewart will be in this I formation for the Scottsboro Wildcats. Scottsboro has that sophomore, McNutt, in there to run the offense for their team. Jonathan McNutt is the center. And Drew McNutt looks over that Fort Payne defense. The straight eye, going to run his option play to the middle. Gave it up the middle to Crandall Strong. And kept it himself. Got to the 40, got to the 45, and got up to the 46-yard line. A great fake there from Drew McNutt. And McNutt kept it and went from the 30 to the 40. But with a 14-yard gain for McNutt.
Yeah, Will Stevens stuck the fullback. Thought he had made the tackle. Then he looked up, and they picked up a first down.
Actually, a 16-yard gain there for McNutt. Great fake by the sophomore Drew McNutt. He put it into the gut of Crandall Strong, then pulled it away. Scottsboro at the 45-yard line. Fort Payne in that 5-man defensive set. And McNutt will mark his option, ran it off again, gave it up middle of Strong, and Strong got it for about 2 yards across the 47 up to the 48-yard line. Crandall Strong with his first carry of the night, nets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for Fort Payne.
That time, Will Stevens did make the tackle for Fort Payne.
Give him about a 3.5-yard gain on that play for Strong. It'll be 2nd down and 7, we'll say. The ball nosed up to the 49-yard line. Still in Scottsboro territory, just underway. 10:59 to go in the opening quarter. Scottsboro will send the wide out to the far side of the field. That's William Polk. They line up in 2 tight ends. Pitch the ball to Stewart. His first carry. Get him across the 50, down to the 45, and maybe got his first down. Nothing fancy, as Scottsboro may have looked at those films of North Jackson and Albertville, Roger. They're lining up in 2 tight ends and just running right at the Wildcats.
Well, number 52, I guess John Hollenstein made a good block. Allowed them to pick up what they're going to measure to see if it wasn't first down.
About a 7-yard gain, and I think he did get his first down.
Yeah, from here it looks like he did.
Nosed across the Wildcat 45-yard line, but Brian Stewart, Crandall Strong, and we expected Scottsboro to kind of spread it out a little, but after maybe watching those films, they just lined up in the 2 tight ends and 1 wide out, and they're going to go right at Fort Payne. Got his first down. First down of the night for either team. But Scottsboro has it in Fort Payne territory. 2nd first down it is. It is nose across the 45-yard line with 10:38 to go in the opening quarter. Scottsboro to the line of scrimmage, and they'll line up in the same formation with double tight ends. Now they put Falk in the wing on the far side. McNutt looks over that Fort Payne defense. And now the sophomore will call his signal. Ran his option play, counter option back to the near side of the field. Lowers his head, got it to the 41. As Middlebrook came up there and knocked him down, but he ran that counter option, faked it to the far side, then came back to the near side and went from the 45 down to the 41, about a 4-yard gain for McNutt.
It looked like there might have been a little motion on the right side of the line. No flags flew, and Brant Middlebrook stopped him after a 4-yard gain.
I think he did, maybe. That right tackle looked like he got away with some motion there. That was Cole Wade with 9:57 to go. Scottsboro 2nd down and about 6 to go. Just underway from beautiful Trammell Stadium with the fair located just over to our right. Here is McNutt. McNutt's going to run his option play, kept himself, got outside, got across the 40, got to the 35, and on down to the 33-yard line. McNutt is running that option play to perfection, and Fort Payne will bring Darrell Prater into the defense. But McNutt ran for his first down to the 34-yard line of Fort Payne.
And Jonathan Dreyer saved a touchdown there. Maybe Jonathan Sugar could have caught up to him, but probably Jonathan saved the touchdown with that tackle.
7-yard gain for McNutt on that carry. Scottsboro has it at the Fort Payne 34. With 9:30 to go in this opening quarter. And here comes Scottsboro in that same set. Wide out are tucked in there tight with two tight ends and a slot man on the far side. McNutt will get in under the center, run his option play again. Now counter option on the far side, kept it himself, and it's going to be a horse collared as he got to the 30. But he still managed to pick up about 3 or 4 yards. They ran the counter option off to the far side, and they mark him right at the 30. It'll be about a 4-yard gain for the sophomore McNutt.
Yeah, Zane Hardinger made the tackle, but if you mentioned there a sophomore, Larry, Scottsboro really relying on a sophomore quarterback tonight, and he's doing a good job.
He's carried 4 times on this drive already. 4 of the 6 carries have gone to the quarterback. That may be Fort Payne's plan to make the quarterback keep the ball, and if it is, it's not working real well right now.
Well, it could be Scottsboro's plan also.
Could very well be. And they're going to run their option play again. And up the middle, go Crandall Strong, got it to the 25. They ran the trap into the middle and gave it to Crandall Strong, the big fullback, and he went from the 30 down to the 25, a 5-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and a yard. Rory Jones made the tackle, but nothing fancy about what they're doing. They're running right at Fort Payne.
Well, they're going up on the outside pretty consistently, then pop one up the middle, picked up good yards, 3rd and 1.
8:13 to go in the opening quarter, and Scottsboro on a drive. McNutt is your quarterback on a 3rd down 1, gave it up the middle of Strong, and Strong is going to battle for his 1st down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
That's Jason Utech.
Utech, they put Utech in there, and
yeah, he carried the last time also.
5'10", 168-pounder, and Utech pounded in there and went from the 25 down to the 19, 6-yard gain. And this will be Scottsboro already down in about to score, it looks like. Fort Payne has Prater and Chadwick in on the defensive secondary now. And McNutt on the 1st down play. McNutt will run his option play, kept himself, got outside and got by a tackler and got to the 15, got knocked down there. Good tackle by Kenny Chadwick right around the 15, but he picked up 4 yards on that play.
Once again, they're varying their play calling, going outside, then finally coming inside, and so far it's worked. As Scottsboro's already moved downfield to the Wildcat 15-yard line.
They've already killed 5 minutes on this clock, too. That's exactly what they want to do. They send William Falk, slot man on the far sideline, up in 2 tight ends, and they split those linemen. Look at those splits in those linemen out there. They're going to run right at Fort Payne. McNutt will run his option play. Big hole up the middle, down to the 20-10, and into the end zone will go Jason Utech. They mark him just short of, they got to the 1-foot line, as they said. But Utech with a big hole there. They knocked a hole in that Fort Payne line that you could have run through there, Roger.
Now, Larry, I disagree a little bit there. The hole was already there. The way we had lined up on the play, he just ran through where the hole naturally was. Really wasn't any great blocking by the offensive line for Scottsboro. Just the alignment of Fort Payne.
14-yard gain. Scottsboro has it inside the Fort Payne 1 with 6:47 to go, and they're trying to drive it in for the opening touchdown. They send a man wide, 20 yards out to the far side, and line up in their I formation. McNutt is your quarterback, and McNutt, Fort Payne jumps offside. As Jonathan Dreyer came in there, don't think he was drawn offside. It'll be about a half a yard. Well, it won't even be a half a yard penalty if it is against Fort Payne.
Maybe 3 inches.
Yep, it'll be, we'll give them a 1-yard penalty. We have to call it a 1-yard penalty, but it'll still be at the 1-yard line as Fort Payne had their linebackers up in those gaps, and Jonathan Dreyer just shot through there before the play ever started. Now Scottsboro has it inside the 1. McNutt, quarterback sneak, got into the end zone. Scottsboro goes 65 yards.
Well, good job by the sophomore quarterback as he leads Scottsboro for a touchdown on the first possession of the night for either team. And let's see if Fort Payne can come back and score. We could have a lot of scoring tonight.
They went 10 plays and went 65 yards. They went more than that. They went 69 yards. And Stephen Johnson will try to kick up the extra point. 6:24 to go. The snap is, and who moves? Maybe Scottsboro moved. Check the flag. Head ball foul, illegal procedure against Scottsboro. They'll step it back 5 yards. I don't think this is going to make a lot of difference. Johnson's 11 of 12 for the year. He'll have to kick this one from a little further out as Scottsboro was moved.
Ball's going to be played down on about the 15-yard line.
Kick it from the 15. Be about a 25-yarder.
Stephen Johnson doing the kicking.
Snap is there. The kick is away. The kick is off to the right, and good. Just got it inside that right upright. But he knocked it in there with 6:24 going in the first quarter. The score is Scottsboro 7, Fort Payne nothing. Goes 69 yards in 10 plays as Drew McNutt scored from the 1-yard line. Johnson kicked the PAT. Fort Payne trails it by a score of 7-0. And now Johnson will kick it away. Fort Payne has Anthony Thompson standing down on his own 1-yard line. Fort Payne needs to answer this drive, Roger.
Right, we almost blocked that extra point, Larry. I thought Anthony Thompson almost got to it.
Johnson, well, Scottsboro's offsides as whoever it was lined up right next to Johnson, the kicker, was about 3 yards out in front of him. I think that may have been William Paul, but they'll have to kick it again from the 35-yard line.
Kind of a good break for Scottsboro as the ball went directly to the Cobra, and Scottsboro had been in a lot of trouble.
They didn't want the Cobra handling that ball down around the 30-yard line. We would have had excellent field position, if not 7. Now they'll kick it from the 35, and Fort Payne should get a chance to run this one back. Johnson will lay it down on the 35-yard line. Scottsboro looked very impressive in that drive, and the thing that scares you is they came out and lined up in the double tight ends and ran right at Fort Payne. That's what Albertville did, and that's what North Jackson did. Fort Payne, as you know, lost both of those games. Now Johnson will wait on the referee's whistle, and there it is. Stephen Johnson will approach it. This time he squibbed it again, and Cobra has it at the 30. 35, 40, up to the 40-yard line, and knocked out of bounds at the 42, but great field position by the Wildcats. And a good job there by Thomas Ross as he caught the ball on a 30 and got it up to the 42, so great position to start your drive from the 42-yard line. See if Fort Payne can answer this touchdown now. As Fort Payne will start Kenny Chadwick. Check that fullback, Justin Garman. He didn't play any last week. And it will be Jonathan Dreyer in there at fullback. And Kenny Chadwick is your tailback. Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross wide to the far side of the field. And they line Justin Pate up on the slot, send him in motion back away from the football. Chadwick will run his option play, gave it up the middle to Prater, and Darrell's going to struggle up to the 45-yard line. Darrell goes for 3 yards to the 45 on his first carry of the night. Darrell has rushed for 627 yards this year, had a big game last week against Buckhorn.
Darrell picked those 3 up basically on his own there as we tried to do a little maneuvering by sending Pate in motion. Didn't fool Scottsboro, so he's second and really a little more than 7.
Scottsboro right now has 9 men in the box, and they're going to keep those 9 men in the box there. Fort Payne with 2nd down and 7. They put Alex Igo on the slot on the far side, put a man in out to this near side, runs it off the near side, gave it to Chadwick, and down he goes. Kenny Chadwick didn't get anything. Got hit right around the line of scrimmage and knocked down. Fort Payne looks like Scottsboro's keying on Chadwick. He actually lost a yard on that play. That was the linebacker in there who made that tackle.
John Lee on the tackle, along with 34, Fidel.
Strength of this team is those linebackers. Chad Green, number 99, Todd Polware, number 2, Emery Massey. Here's a 3rd down possession play for Fort Payne. They've got to get 8 yards out of this play. They send wideouts left and right. Chadwick is your quarterback. Chadwick will run his option play to the far side, kept it himself, and got about 3 yards, drove it across the 45 up to the 48, but well short of the 1st down. And Scottsboro's defense forces Fort Payne to kick it away on their first drive.
Good job of Massey coming in for Scottsboro to trip him up. And as you said, he's 4 yards shy of 1st down, and they'll have to punt.
Get that 4 yards on the play, and the Scottsboro crowd is happy, and well, they should be. Scottsboro has owned this game so far. Fort Payne's Kenny Chadwick will stand back to kick it away. He'll kick it from his own 40. Twin receivers drop back for Scottsboro. High snap. Kenny Chadwick got his kick away. Angle, not a good kick. Didn't turn over for him. It's going to be a wobbly kick that's going to bounce. Got a great Fort Payne bounce, and it's down to the 18-yard line. That ball bounced in there, and somebody came in there and picked it up. And they're lucky he didn't fumble that football. As you heard the Scottsboro coaching staff yelling, no, no, no. But I think that was Jason Utek who caught it. It'll be Fort Payne Scottsboro's ball on the 18.
The way the ball was going, Larry, if he hadn't caught it there, it would have probably rolled inside the 10, maybe even inside the 5-yard line.
4:08 to go in this opening quarter. It's been all Scottsboro so far. They come out in that same formation, double tight end set with a slot man on the far side. Drew McNutt is your quarterback. The I formation in the backfield behind him. And McNutt will run his option play to this near side, and not much there by Crandall Strong. He got knocked down right in the middle, and there is Will Stevens in there, one of them. And he also had a lot of help from that big senior linebacker for Fort Payne, Jonathan Dreyer.
Well, that time when he hit Will Stevens, he just flew backwards, Larry. He hit a stone wall there, and they give him about a yard on the play.
It'll be a 1-yard gain with 3:46 to go in this opening quarter. Scottsboro leads Fort Payne 7-0. They have that same formation they've had every play tonight. The double tight end set, going to run his option play to the near side. Fumble the football, and Fort Payne has it. The 19-yard line, McNutt tried to run that option play, and Fort Payne jumped on it. That was Dustin Hill. They belong to Fort Payne.
Yeah, they just left a bad exchange, left the ball laying there. Dustin Hill jumps on it. So a big break for Fort Payne as they will have the ball 1st and 10 just inside the 20-yard line of the Scottsboro Wildcats.
We'll mark it. The ball nosed right at the 20, so we'll put it on the 20-yard line. First break of the night goes to the Fort Payne Wildcats as they force the Fort Payne fumble. Now they've got to convert this thing. It'll be Mintz to the far side. They line up Heath Owen to the tight end on this near sideline, and they put Igo in the slot on the far side. The quarterback under is Chadwick. Chadwick will run his option play to the near side. Kept himself on a run pass off to the far side. He's going to keep it to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line will be Kenny Chadwick.
Well, he could have hit Gary Mintz around the 10-yard line for an easy touchdown, but Kenny picks up the first down, so it'll be 1st and goal from about the 5-yard line for Fort Payne, maybe the 6.
15-yard gain by Kenny Chadwick. Fort Payne at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal with 3:23 to go in this opening quarter. Scottsboro leads it by a score of 7-0. Fort Payne will send White out to the far side of the field, put a man in the slot on the far side. Heath Owen is your tight end on the near side. The I formation for Chadwick, and Kenny Chadwick will run his option play, gave it up the middle, and Dreyer is going to go inside the 3, down to the 1-yard line. Jonathan Dreyer will be at the 1-yard line on his first carry of the night.
I don't know. Was that not 27 maybe that had the ball? Justin Garmany, I think.
Garmany is, yeah. So Justin Garmany back playing tonight. Good to see Justin Garmany as he pulled in there for 4 yards down to the 1-yard line.
Actually, he's inside the 1-yard line.
3 minutes exactly to go in this opening quarter. Fort Payne trying to tie the game. Now they have the power I set, and Darrell Prater is at the tail of that I formation. Kenny Chadwick will look over that defense, and Kenny Chadwick will bark out his signals, gives the ball to Darrell Prater. Darrell will go into the end zone for the touchdown. Darrell Prater scores on a 1-yard run, and Fort Payne goes 20 yards in 3 plays.
Good job by the Wildcats taking advantage of the turnover from the Scottsboro Wildcats to pull within 1 with a chance for Jonathan Sugar here to even the score.
Jonathan Sugar will try to tack up the extra point. And Justin Pate will hold it. Snap is good. The kick is away. The kick is good. So with 2:42 to go in the opening quarter, we're tied at 7 apiece. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Wildcat Sports Network. Takes advantage of the first turnover of the night as Scottsboro fumbled it on the 20. The Wildcats from Fort Payne go 20 yards in 3 plays. And Darrell Prater scored from 1 yard away. Sugar's PAT made it 7-7 with 2:42 to go. So here is Kenny Chadwick to kick it away. They'll have Brian Stewart deep. And Chadwick got a long kick that's not going to go very far. Stewart's going to come up and catch it on the 15 to the 20, straight up the middle, 25, down the hole to the 40, 45, 50 down this near sideline. Igo's after him, and Igo got him down around the 22-yard line. Alex Igo ran him down and prevented the touchdown, but Scottsboro with a long kickoff return.
Yeah, Larry, you could see there was trouble brewing when he kicked that ball high and short. Gave Scottsboro a perfect opportunity for a good return, and they take advantage of it. And you know, Kenny last week was kicking them deep into the end zone.
Ran it back to the 23-yard line, and Fort Payne, Scottsboro will be in business at the Fort Payne 23-yard line. McNutt is your quarterback. They have that eye set in there. Crandall Strong and Brian Stewart are lined up in the eye behind him. McNutt's going to run his counter option to the far side. Kept it himself. Got inside. Big hole to the 15. To the 10. Tackled at the 5-yard line. Inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. And McNutt, it looks like Fort Payne wants McNutt to handle the ball, and he is just shredding this Wildcat defense.
Once again, Jonathan Sugar made the touchdown-saving tackle.
He went from the 23 to the 10, a 13-yard gain by the sophomore. They mark it just inside the 10, so they can't get a first down. 2:19 to go. In this opening quarter, we're tied at 7 apiece, but Scottsboro trying to do something about that. As they have that double tight end formation again. McNutt is your quarterback, and McNutt's going to pitch the ball to Stewart. Stewart's in trouble outside, dancing to the 5-yard line, though. He just waited for those blocks to develop and got it inside the 5 for a 5-yard gain.
Good job of running then by number 21 for Scottsboro.
Brian Stewart is a senior, 5'8", 122-pounder. Stewart's run for 590 yards this year, 7.8 yards per carry average, so he has done very well, thank you. 1:37 to go. Second down from the 5-yard line, second and goal for Scottsboro. Nothing unfamiliar about this set. A tight end formation with a wide out to the far side of the field. McNutt is your quarterback, and McNutt will run his pitch to Stewart. Stewart at the 5. Stewart cut down there at the 3-yard line. That was Dreyer, I think, who came in there and chopped him down. No, that was Anthony Thompson who chopped him down before he got to the end zone, knocked him down around the 4.
Anthony got good penetration that time, was able to hit him down around the knees and trip him up, and brings up a big third and, well, about 3 yards for the touchdown.
I think Stewart was headed for the end zone if Anthony Thompson doesn't get him around the ankles. It'll be third down and goal. They send the wide out to the far side, and they put a slot man on the far side. They go to the I formation, going to give it up the middle. Kept it himself. No, he gave it up the middle, and not much there. He didn't get into the end zone. They gave it to Crandall Strong, and Strong was knocked down at the 1.5. So Coach Larry Morris will have a decision to make here.
Brian Jones and Bo Wilson come in to make sure he didn't score. As you said, it's fourth from the 3, and we'll have to see what the coach decides to do.
Well, it's back about on the 2-yard line. Fourth down and goal to go. And it looks like Coach Larry Morris is going to go for it. They have Jason Utek in there at fullback now. McNutt is your quarterback. McNutt's going to run his option play. Gave it up the middle. Nothing there. Fort Payne stopped him. And it'll belong to the Wildcats from Fort Payne. A great goal line stand. Fort Payne will get the football. They ran Utek in the middle, and Fort Payne was there to meet the challenge.
I don't know, Larry. Maybe if I was the coach there, I would have let that quarterback hold on to the ball on that one. He's done such a good job so far. I feel like he might could have went outside and punched it in, but lucky for us, they didn't take that option. Fort
Payne will have it at the 1-yard line with 9 seconds to go. They tried to run Utek in the middle, and Fort Payne just knocked him down right around the line of scrimmage. Fort Payne will send the Igo to the near side. They're on their own 1-yard line. Need to punch it out of here now. The quarterback under is Kenny Chadwick. Runs his quarterback sneak and got about 2 yards out of it after the 3 as the first quarter comes to an end. At the end of the first quarter, the score is Fort Payne 7, Scottsboro 7. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network.
Time in Truck and Ashire, 3rd Street, Galt Avenue South in Fort Payne, and also Highway 75, Main Street in Fife, your Bridgestone and Firestone dealer.
Fort Payne comes up with the first big defensive play of the night, and they now have it at the 3-yard line. Need to punch this thing out of there, but a great stop by the Fort Payne defense. We'll get some stats right after this play from Ronnie Ross. Fort Payne sends Mintz to the near side. They put Igo in the slot on this near side on the 2nd down and 8 from the 3-yard line. Their own 3-yard line. Chadwick is your quarterback. And Kenny Chadwick looks over that Fort Payne defense, gives the ball to Darrell Prater, and Prater is going to get maybe up to the 4-yard line. 1 yard for Darrell Prater, but Ronnie, some stats as we end this first quarter.
Well, Larry, it's all Scottsboro. As we said, even though the score is tied 7-7, 6 first downs by Scottsboro, just 1 first down by Fort Payne. With 92 yards, total yardage for Scottsboro, just 29 for Fort Payne.
3rd down possession play. Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross to the near side. Alex Igo to the far side. The quarterback under is Kenny Chadwick. Scottsboro has 9 men up on that line of scrimmage. Chadwick will run his counter play. Gave it to Darrell Prater. Darrell got outside, got to 10, and got his first down across the 10, I think. I think he got it to the 11. Yes, he did get a first down. Darrell Prater with it. They ran that counter option off to the far side, and Darrell goes for from the 4 to the 11. It will be first down, Fort Payne. Big run by Darrell Prater.
Well, so far I haven't seen that first down sign given, Larry.
Well, the official on the far side has the ball spotted beyond the marker, and now they're going to measure it, and let's see.
Now they say first down, Fort Payne, and a much better job that time on the right side of the Wildcat offensive line, blocking for Darrell as he does pick up the first down.
8-yard run there by Darrell Prater with 11:17 to go in the half. Fort Payne needs to get at least a couple more first downs out of this. And the Wildcats send in a couple of wide outs, and that will be Mintz to the near side and Pate to the far side on a first down from the 12-yard line. Kenny Chadwick is your quarterback, and Chadwick will run his option play, gave it up the middle, and there is Dreyer in there. Did he fumble the football? I think they blew it dead around the 16. And, yeah, they blew it dead. Said he was already down. It'll be second down. That was, who was that? Was that Garmany?
Garmany on the carry. Number 57, Brian Jones, came up with the ball. So even if it was loose, it was recovered by Fort Payne.
It'll be a 5-yard carry for Justin Garmany. And they'll mark it at the 17 with 10:37 to go. The Cobra slips out here to this near side on a second down and 5 from Chadwick. Kenny Chadwick will pitch the ball to Darrell Prater. Darrell trying to get outside, and he slipped down as he tried to cut it back in, got to the 20. Fort Payne will face another third down and about 3. Darrell Prater, they pitched the ball to Darrell. He tried to sweep right, cut it back across the middle. Feet slipped out from under him as he got to the 19. It'll be a 2-yard gain for Darrell.
McAllister credited with the tackle for Scottsboro, and it brings up a 3rd and 2.
Fort Payne needs to get it to the 22 for the first down. Trying to get back-to-back first downs and get this ball out from their shadows of their own goal post. With 9:57 to go in the half, we're tied at 7 apiece. Chadwick, your quarterback, and Fort Payne. On this near side, that was Dustin Hill, the senior on this near side who moved. Fort Payne will now be third down in about 7.
Well, I think Dustin kind of went for the movement on the Scottsboro line there and jumped off, and the Wildcats will be backed up 5 yards.
7-7 is your score. Fort Payne just made a great goal line stand. Scottsboro had a first down on the Fort Payne 4, and the Wildcats stopped them. Now they've got to get it out to the 22 for the first down. They send Thomas Ross to the near side. Fort Payne may have to go to the air here. Heath Owen is lined up on that right side over there, along with Alex Igo. And this will be Chadwick. He fakes it, rolls the pass. He has Thomas Ross down here. He's going to keep the ball rolling, and he's tackled at the 12. The Fort Payne offensive line couldn't hold him out. He had Thomas breaking open down around the 35-yard line, but Kenny couldn't get away from that defensive lineman long enough to throw the ball.
Kenneth Hill had pretty good coverage on Thomas, really. I think it was kind of a coverage sack. Kenny really had nowhere else to go. No one else was open, so we'll have to punt the ball away.
Lost 2 on that play. It'll be Chadwick to kick it away from about his own 5-yard line. Scottsboro has twin receivers standing back around midfield with 9:10 to go in the half. Got a good snap. Return is on, not a good kick. It's going to be came up and caught at the 40, and down he goes at the 40-yard line. Good tackling there by Fort Payne, as that was Hill who caught the ball, Kenny Hill who caught the ball up around the 42 and got knocked down right there. Scottsboro has great field position at the Wildcat 42.
Lee Kennedy made the tackle for Fort Payne.
8:57 to go in this first half. We're tied at 7 apiece. And here is Scottsboro in Fort Payne territory again. McNutt is your quarterback. They have those double tight ends, and they really got some splits in those lines. And McNutt will run his option play, kept it himself, got to the 40, got inside the 40 to the 34-yard line, 36-yard line, before Jonathan Dreyer came up there and knocked him down.
Dustin Hill kind of put him off balance, then Dreyer came in to bring him down, but he picks up the better part of, well, almost 6 yards, the better part of 5 yards on the play.
Mark him at the 36-yard line. This McNutt surely does not run this offense like a sophomore. He looks like a veteran out there. And they have that same formation with a wide out to the far side of the field. McNutt looks over that Fort Payne defense. Fort Payne's going to bring a linebacker. Option play to the near side, kept it himself and darted inside across the 35 to the 34 as Fort Payne's Will Stevens hit him and knocked him down, but he dove in there for a couple of yards.
Will Stevens very active tonight, Ronnie. He's been on about 3 or 4 tackles, and Will is pressing the offense for Scottsboro.
Yes, he is.
2-yard gain. Here's a 3rd down play for Scottsboro. And I think this Fort Payne defense is really forcing McNutt to keep the ball. They don't want Strong or Stewart to handle it. Now here's a 3rd down possession play. Going to run his option play again. He gave it up the middle on a penalty play. And I don't know. What, maybe we'll wait and let him call it. Didn't see any movement across that line. Maybe Fort Payne was lined up in the neutral zone. But Scottsboro's backing up. Illegal procedure against Scottsboro. That'll mark it back to the 39. One of those linemen must have moved in there, and now it'll be 3rd down and about 7. It's a big penalty. This first half is flying. Neither team has thrown a pass so far. 7:47 to go in the opening half. And it's tied at 7 apiece. Scottsboro will send the wide out to the far side of the field. McNutt, your quarterback. Fort Payne has 9 in the box. They ran their option play, kept himself, and down he goes this time. But finally he's down. Somebody had a hold of him there, and he just wouldn't go down. Brian Jones had him, and he just wormed away from Brian and got it down to the 36. It'll be about 5 yards short of the 1st down, though.
Brian kind of had a little bit of hold of his pants there and just wouldn't let go.
3-yard gain. It'll be 4th down for Scottsboro, 4th and 5, and they're going to go for it with 7 minutes to go in the half in a 7-7 game. So here is Scottsboro on a 4th down possession play. They send wide out to the far side. They put Falk and the slot man, and he's going to run his option play, kept himself. Now pitches to Stewart. Stewart's at the 40, 35, dove into the 30 for his 1st down. They ran that option into the short side of the field, and McNutt pitches to Brian Stewart. Stewart got his 1st down.
Good job of play calling by the Scottsboro coaches there. Wildcats hadn't seen that yet tonight, and finally they do.
It'll be down to the 29,
Just hitting
7-yard gain. So a 7-yard gain on that play. Here is for Scottsboro to the 29. They have a wide out to the far side of the field on a 1st down from the 29-yard line. Option play and gave it up the middle. Counter option kept himself. 25, 20, 15, and dove it into the 12-yard line. McNutt fumbled the football, and they say it was down. One of the officials blew it down. They say Scottsboro's going to get it. McNutt ran his option play, went from the 29 into the 12. They have a 1st down after that 17-yard run. Fumbled the ball late. Scottsboro, they say he was down. Scottsboro threatening again after converting this 4th down play. 6:19 to go in the half. They have a 1st down at the 12-yard line. And now the officials call timeout. Fort Payne calls timeout. Timeout on the field. The score is Fort Payne 7, Scottsboro 7. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Yes. Coach Sanford has been on the field talking to his defense. Scottsboro has it at the 12-yard line. Could Fort Payne's defense stop them again? They stopped them a little while ago at the 1. McNutt, your quarterback, and McNutt's going to pitch the ball to Stewart. Stewart to the 15, cut it inside the 10, got to the 5, and cut it in for the touchdown. Brian Stewart goes 12 yards for the Scottsboro touchdown.
Great cut by Stewart at the 5-yard line, Larry, to get into the end zone.
Took them 6 plays to go 42 yards. The big play was the 4th down conversion there. Brian Stewart went to the last 12. Johnson will kick up the extra point. The snap is there. The kick is away. The kick is low, and the kick is good. With 6:09 to go in the 1st half, the score is Scottsboro 14, Fort Payne 7. Back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Fort Payne held them the first time, couldn't stop them the second time as they pitched the ball to Brian Stewart. He made a great cut around the 6 and went into the end zone untouched. PAT by Johnson made it 14-7 in favor of Scottsboro. Johnson will kick it away. Fort Payne has Darrell Prater standing around his 10-yard line. I think they want to keep that ball away from Darrell Prater. Johnson will kick it deep this time and knock it over the head of Crabtree into the end zone. Fort Payne will set up in business on their own 20. 6:09 to go. See if Fort Payne can answer Scottsboro. They answered a little while ago to tie the game. Now they're going to have to come back again as Scottsboro has taken a 14-7 lead with a little over 6 minutes to go in the half. Neither team has thrown a pass yet. This first half is flying by. Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross to the near side, Alex Igo to the far side. They split Heath Owen, the tight end, out to that far side, and nobody's picking up Heath out there. Kenny Chadwick will roll to his far side, ran his option play, kept it himself, and he's going to be cornered and thrown down to 4 yards in the backfield.
Emery Massey, number 44, made the tackle for Scottsboro.
Fort Payne, Kenny lost 4 yards, back to the 16. Fort Payne still not going to throw the ball. They had a formation that time where they had a wide out to the far side. They had the tight end Heath Owen in that slot on the far side. Scottsboro had one defender out there to guard him. They've got exactly the same situation. And now they've got somebody out there on Heath now. Back to pass. They'll throw the ball to Heath. Caught it at the 25 and up to the 26-yard line. That's the first pass completion of the night. It goes from Chadwick to Heath Owen. It'll be 3rd down and 5 at the 3rd down and about 4. 12-yard pass completion there. Fort Payne will be a possession. They'll have a possession down at the 26-yard line. Need to get to the 30 for the first down. Worst thing that could happen is you give this ball back to Scottsboro. So Fort Payne desperately needs another first down here. Chadwick will run his counter option. Darrell Prater got his first down. Got to the 30, 35, 40. He may go all the way. 45, 50, 45, 40. Down that far side, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Darrell Prater.
No flag. No flag.
Darrell Prater took it all the way for the touchdown. 74-yard run by Darrell Prater.
Well, once Darrell made the sideline, he had one player. That was number 12 for Scottsboro, Webb, to beat. And Webb just could not catch up to him. And the Wildcats, again, with an extra point here, will tie the game at 14-all.
Darrell Prater got outside, and as Roger mentioned, he had one man to beat, and he outran Webb for the touchdown. Sugar will try to kick up the extra point. Fort Payne at the last minute runs a player in there. The snap is there. The kick by Sugar is away. It is long. It is good. With 4:46 to go in the first half, we're tied again at 14 apiece back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Darrell Prater, who had a big game last year against Scottsboro, he scored 5 touchdowns, just rambled 74 yards for the tying touchdown. And Jonathan Sugar kicked up the extra point with 4:46 to go. In the opening half, we're tied now at 14 apiece. Kenny Chadwick will kick it away, squibs it. The ball is going to be bouncing. It's going to be caught down around the 10-yard line, back up to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. Got a hold of 30, 35, up to the 35-yard line, to the 38-yard line, to the 40-yard line. Will go number 22. That is Kenneth Hill. And Fort Payne, Kenny Chadwick came up with the football. But Kenneth Hill went to the 40-yard line. Scottsboro has great field position again. They have had excellent field position all night long.
Well, better to have to go 40 yards than 20 like they had the last couple of times. So maybe the defense can stiffen up here, and with 4:34 remaining until the half, we're all tied up at 14-all.
4:34 to go, and here is Scottsboro from their own 40-yard line. But he gave it up, and they kept it himself. Got to the 40, got to the 45, trying to pitch the ball, and now he's up to the 48-yard line. An 8-yard gain there by Fort Payne, and they're trying to make McNutt keep that ball.
That was Scottsboro with a 8-yard gain.
And McNutt, they're going to make McNutt keep the ball, and he is shredded. How many yards did McNutt run for?
On 12 carries, he's picked up 84 yards. As a team, they've rushed for only 145, so McNutt is basically carrying the load for Scottsboro.
4:02 to go in this half. Fort Payne on defense, and Scottsboro will pitch the ball to Stewart. Got to the 50, got to the 48-yard line, picked up a first down. And now, what is it called?
There is a flag down in the defensive secondary. Zane Hardinger made the tackle.
Stewart's a little slow getting up. What's the flag? Illegal block against Scottsboro, so that one will come back.
Well, that will be a drive killer, hopefully, for Scottsboro.
The 15-yard step off. Jonathan Dreyer started out. He's just going over there to talk to Coach Sanford. What are they going to do? They're going to step off the 15-yard penalty against Scottsboro for the illegal block. The illegal block will put it all the way back to the 37-yard line. So that is an 11-yard penalty. Second down now, and about 13 for Scottsboro. So we'll see if that penalty kills this Scottsboro drive. They send the wide out to the far side. They line that tight end, Messersmith, up on this near side. Well, they've got some wide splits between those linemen there. McNutt, your quarterback, and McNutt will run his option play. Gave it up the middle. Big hole, 50, 45, 40. And Anthony Thompson is going to make the tackle down around the 22-yard line. That was Jason Utek. Well, they had a hold of that Wildcat line, and Anthony Thompson prevented a tackle down around the 22.
So far, the game of big plays. We're having some big yardage plays here so far tonight.
Boy. 31-yard gain there. 41-yard gain, a 41-yard gain. So the Wildcats 22-yard line with 3:09 to go. And Utek is just a junior, but they just knocked that Fort Payne line out of the way, and Utek rambled for big yards. He's still in there at the fullback position. And they're going to roll back the pass, runs a draw play to Stewart. Stewart cut it outside, got to the 20, and cut it inside to the 18. A great move there by Brian Stewart. Brian Stewart came in here with an injured ankle, but he sure doesn't look like the ankle's hurt the way he's making his cuts tonight.
No, he showed on a couple of plays he can cut on a dime, Larry. And it's second and about 4 for Scottsboro at the Wildcat 16.
Picked up 6 yards on that play. 2:34 to go in the half. 14-14 is your score. But Scottsboro threatening again. Fort Payne has not stopped Scottsboro tonight. Well, they did stop him on the 1-yard line one time. Here's McNutt. Option play. Kept himself. Got outside. Cut into the 15. Cut it to the 10. And down to the 12, 8, 7-yard line. Will go McNutt.
Well, that fake by the quarterback there completely took number 31 of the Wildcats out of the play, Nathan Nail, as he was guarding the pitch man, and it opened it wide up, or wide open for the quarterback to go down to the 8.
9-yard gain, and they'll put him down at the 7-yard line is where they officially mark it with 2:13 to go. McNutt having a monster night tonight against this Fort Payne defense. Second, it is first and goal for Scottsboro with 2 minutes to go in the half. Scottsboro trying to grab the lead. It's 14 apiece. McNutt, option play to the far side, gave it to Utek, and he got it inside the 5 down to the 1-yard line. And Utek took it from the 7 down to the 1 to 6-yard gain. Brian Jones made the tackle with 1:44 to go. Scottsboro, barring a fumble here, will take the lead against this Fort Payne team with 1:36 to go in the half. Nail out of that defensive secondary for Fort Payne. 1:29 to go. Clock is moving. Utek is the fullback, and Brian Stewart is the tailback. McNutt, quarterback sneak, and I think he got in. Touchdown.
Well, that's the second sneaking quarterback sneak for a touchdown tonight, as Scottsboro takes the lead once again.
They go 60 yards in 6 plays as McNutt went the final one for the touchdown. Johnson will try to kick up the extra point with 1:18 to go in the half. The ball is snapped. The kick is away. The kick is good. 1:18 to go in the half. Scottsboro leads it by a score of 21-14. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Some shootout here at Scottsboro as Scottsboro leads it 21-14. Johnson will kick it away again. Fort Payne has Anthony Thompson deep. Johnson got his foot into it, and it's going to bounce down around the 5-yard line. It's going to be picked up there by Crabtree at the 5. Back up to the 10, trying to get outside, and Crabtree is going to be horse-collared down at the 16. So Fort Payne's got a long way to go, and not a lot of time to get there. They'll mark him at the 17-yard line.
Well, Anthony Thompson is a threat to break one at any time, so with 1:10 remaining here in the first half, we could see some more points.
Fort Payne has 2 timeouts left. They have Igo and Owen to the far side, Thomas Ross to the near side. They have Darrell Prater in there at the fullback, the tailback position. They'll throw it to Thomas Ross, complete to the 30, 35, up to the 36-yard line goes Thomas Ross. 16-yard gain there from Kenny Chadwick to Thomas Ross.
And that stops the clock briefly, at least, with 1:03.
Mark him at the 46-yard line. So here is Fort Payne with a first down and 59 seconds to go. Kenny Chadwick will run his option play, gave it to Darrell Prater. Darrell trying to get outside, got a block at the 40. Needs one more block and can't get it, but he squirms away and got out of bounds up around the 45. He got 9 yards out of it when there wasn't anything there.
Well, the main thing then, he was able to get out of bounds when it looked like he might have been trapped in bounds. And after picking up 9 yards, he stops the clock with 47 seconds remaining.
To the 44 is where they mark this one. So here is 47 seconds to go. Fort Payne still has a couple of timeouts to go. Second down and 9, trying to go the length of the field and tie this game. Option play, gave it up the middle of Dreyer, and he didn't get it up. Chadwick kept it out himself and got knocked down. Kenny Chadwick ran the option play to the far side and got knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Fort Payne has to burn their second timeout. Timeout on the field with 36 seconds to go in the half. Scottsboro leads Fort Payne 21-7. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network.
The Alabama Band Fan Club at the South Y in Fort Payne is happy to bring you Wildcat Sports. Our youth are tomorrow's leaders. Randy, Teddy, Mark, and Jeff would also like to introduce their new 41 Hits album with 3 new songs.
Payne didn't call a timeout on that. There was a flag in the defensive secondary. Now Fort Payne calls a timeout. Scottsboro calls a timeout. As Fort Payne was hit with a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty, marks it all the way back to the 29. So that's a huge penalty. Looked like down in this defensive secondary, one of the Fort Payne wideouts and a defensive back from Scottsboro were kind of rooster fighting, and Fort Payne got the call against them. Can't make those silly fouls, though.
Now, it looks like they were kind of having a little dance session over on the far sideline, and that kind of hurts here with us trying to drive for a tying score here going into the half.
Had the ball up around midfield now. You got it back at the 29-yard line. The Fort Payne is going to have to come up with a big play, and it's going to be third down. So they've got to go third down, and they got to go up to the 46 for the first down. Some stats, Ronnie Ross. Darrell Prater's run for how many yards?
Darrell Prater's up to 97 yards. Of course, big jaunt there for that touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns, only 8 carries, 97 yards. Of course, the big story for Scottsboro is the quarterback, Drew McNutt, 14 carries for 94 yards. 208 yards for Scottsboro. Fort Payne now has 122 just before the half.
Fort Payne will send twin receivers to the near side, Thomas Ross and Heath Owen. They also send the wide out to the far side. That's Alex Igo on a third down and long for Fort Payne. And I would think Scottsboro is probably going to key on Darrell Prater. They run an option play, back to pass, gave it to Darrell, faked it to Darrell, throw it. He has a man down this near sideline, throws it long. It's going to be incomplete. And Fort Payne had a chance to make that pass.
There is a flag on the play.
Justin Pate, if he would have kept running, I think he would have caught that ball. It looked like he slowed down and waited on the ball, and there's no flag down.
Oh.
Well, I guess, I don't know what it is. It looks like a yellow flag laying over there. Maybe we're just hopeful.
But Justin Pate, I bet if he looks at this film, he's going to say that he should have caught that ball. Looked like he kind of slowed down there, and instead of running under the ball was well thrown. Fort Payne will have to kick it away. 26 seconds to go, and Kenny Chadwick will punt it away. Kenny got his foot into it. It didn't really turn over for him. It's going to be bouncing, and got a Scottsboro bounce back to the 43-yard line with 9 seconds to go. Scottsboro will probably just run out the clock with 17 seconds to go. Fort Payne made the mistakes. And Scottsboro has made only one. They fumbled. Fort Payne converted into a touchdown. But Scottsboro has controlled this game on offense and defense. McNutt's been to the sideline talking to Coach Larry Morris. Now he goes back into the game with 17 seconds to go. See if they try to hit the big play or just run the clock out here. They lead it 21-14. They're going to run their reverse inside, and down he goes. Not much there as Paulk got knocked down. They ran the wing back reverse, and William Paulk got knocked down after a 2-yard gain. And that's going to be the final play of the half, barring a timeout, and I don't think anybody's going to call it. That's it. The first half is history, and Scottsboro leads Fort Payne by a score of 21-14. We'll be back. The Wildcat Sports Network.
Scottsboro, Alabama. We're at halftime. Your halftime score, the Scottsboro Wildcats 21, the Fort Payne Wildcats 14. Now for your halftime entertainment, the Fort Payne Wildcat Marching Band with their halftime performance. And once again, a stirring performance halftime here at Pat Trammell Stadium by the Fort Payne High School Wildcat Marching Band. Standing ovation here. Your halftime score in Scottsboro, the Scottsboro Wildcats out in front by a score of 21-14 to the Fort Payne Wildcats. We'll have more halftime entertainment when we return. This is the Wildcat Sports Network.
The stat that really jumps out at you is that sophomore Drew McNutt has carried 14 times for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. You expected big games out of Crandall Strong and Brian Stewart, but they've been held to 15 yards for Strong and 37 yards for Stewart. But McNutt has more than picked up the slack as he has run for 94 yards. Fort Payne, on the other hand, has been carried by Darrell Prater. Darrell has 8 carries for 97 yards. But Fort Payne only has 122 yards total offense. Kenny Chadwick has 16 yards on 5 carries. Jonathan Dreyer, well, Chad Garman it is, has 2 carries for 9 yards. And Fort Payne doing a little bit better in the passing game as Kenny Chadwick has thrown 3 passes, completed 2. The only pass he didn't complete was that long pass right before halftime for 28 yards. Pass receptions by Thomas Ross, 1 for 16, and 1 for Heath Owen for 14 yards. Total offense, Fort Payne has 150 yards total offense. Scottsboro has 210 yards, but another big stat that jumps right out at you, that's those first downs. Scottsboro has 10 first downs, and Fort Payne only 3 first downs as do fireworks here. Looks like the 4th of July here as both bands with a patriotic theme and a great performance there by the Scottsboro High School Marching Band as they send fireworks flying across the way. Going to burn up some of those Fort Payne folks over there. We couldn't do that in Fort Payne because we're under a no-burn ordinance, could we?
I thought Jackson County was under it, too.
I guess not here at Wildcat Stadium. A minute 30 to go before this second half starts, so let's take our final break as we get ready for the second half kickoff with Scottsboro leading Fort Payne by a score of 21-14. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Halftime, it is 21-14 in favor of Scottsboro, and we were just going over some halftime stats there. But Roger Engel, the stat that really jumps out at you is Drew McNutt, quarterback, sophomore, 14 carries, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And Larry, they kind of went away from that in the second quarter. He could have had a lot more yards than that, I think.
Fort Payne led as usual by Darrell Prater, who has 97 yards rushing, which is the good news. Bad news is Fort Payne just has 122 yards rushing total. So they're going to have to get some more production out of some of the other players.
Well, they did start trying to pass a little there towards the end of the second quarter, and they were successful when they tried it. So maybe we'll see a little more wide-open offense here in the second half from Fort Payne. Kenny
Chadwick, 2 of 3 passes for 28 yards. The only pass he did not complete was that long pass he threw right before halftime. The Fort Payne going to need, I think they're going to need to straighten up their defense. 210 yards, they're on pace to give up 400 yards for this defense is.
Well, it kind of looks strange. Those wide gaps in the lane are along the line, and they were just running through them and not being touched.
We talked about that a couple of times during the game. Scottsboro, as Roger mentioned, they come out with those wide splits between those linemen, and they're forcing Fort Payne to defend a lot of area out there. Then they're coming in with 2 tight ends. Here comes Scottsboro back onto the field. Fort Payne is across the way. Scottsboro won the coin toss, and they elected to receive, so Fort Payne should get their choice as we start this second half. But we're still a little way away from the start of this second half, so let's take our second break as we get ready for the kickoff for the second half with a score at halftime. Scottsboro 21, Fort Payne 14. Payne will receive this second half kickoff as Scottsboro won the opening coin toss, elected to receive. The Wildcats from Fort Payne will receive, and let's see if they've made any adjustments, especially defensively. We mentioned earlier there that Scottsboro bumped off 210 yards in total offense. Fort Payne only had 150. They had 122 of that on the ground, but Darrell Prater had 97 of that. So Fort Payne is going to need to pick up their offense a little and get a lot better on defense, Roger.
Well, we really haven't even gone to the fullback very often. It's been mainly Prater than those passes that we've attempted. So let's just see what the Wildcats can do here on offense to start the second half and see if we can respond.
Justin Garmany has 2 carries for 9 yards. That's it, out of the fullback position. Fort Payne ready to receive the second half kickoff as Stephen Johnson is ready to kick it away, and he will have Anthony Thompson standing on his own 5-yard line. Johnson approaches the football, got his foot into it, and knocked it a line drive. It's going to bounce on the 1 into the end zone. Fort Payne will set up on their 20. Second time tonight, Johnson's kicked it in the end zone. Fort Payne's going to have to go 80 yards to tie this one up. Fort Payne and Scottsboro, a rivalry that goes back a long way. Fort Payne won it last year. Scottsboro won over here a couple of years ago when Fort Payne had that 28-0 lead. Saw Scottsboro come roaring back, scored on the last play of the game to win it 32-28. Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross to the near side. They put Alex Igo on the slot on this near side. And they move Heath Owen, the tight end, out to the far side of the field. The eye set, going to run Prater, and Darrell's trying to get outside. Got outside to the 20, got 2 yards out of it. Scottsboro, like every other team that Fort Payne has played, keying on Darrell Prater, and Darrell goes from the 20 to the 22.
That was number 99, Larry, making the tackle, Chad Green.
Chad Green, a 6'2", 220-pound linebacker. He leads this team in tackles. He had 54 tackles coming into this game. Fort Payne will send Justin Pate and also Gary Mintz in the game. Mintz will come to the near side, and they'll put Justin Pate in the slot on this near side. 2nd and 8 for Fort Payne from their own 22. Going to run Darrell. Darrell got up to the 20, got to the 25, got to the 30, got to the 32-yard line. Darrell Prater. And Darrell got a lot of it on his own, but they marked him all the way to the 34. So a 13-yard gain for Darrell Prater gets him over 100 yards for the night.
Yeah, and he picked up a good portion of that going backwards, so he just kept his feet churning, was able to pick up another 5 or 6 yards, so a first down for Fort Payne.
11-10 to go in this third quarter. Fort Payne and Scottsboro. Scottsboro leads it 21-14. Fort Payne has Jonathan Dreyer in there at the fullback position. Kenny Chadwick turns around and says something to Jonathan Dreyer. Scottsboro has 9 men up in that box. Going to fake the ball to the far side. Going to throw it. He has Heath Owen wide open, but he keeps it to the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40 down that far sideline. 35, 30, 25, 20. Cut it inside and got down to the 15-yard line. Kenny Chadwick.
As you said, he had Heath wide open, but also there was no one on Kenny, so he tucks it and runs, and he was just a hair away from going the distance on the play.
Where do they mark it? They mark it on the 16-yard line.
21.
20.
No, you're right, 16.
16-yard line?
Yeah, you're right.
40-yard gain. From the 16-yard line, it'll be Fort Payne. Actually, that's more than a 40-yard gain. 50-yard gain, 50-yard run there by Kenny. And here is Chadwick. Fort Payne trying to tie it. Chadwick will drop the football and fell on it. So Kenny, after the 50-yard gallop, will pick up a yard on that play.
Yeah, lucky for Kenny getting back on it. Once again, Chad Green was all over him, and he almost got the ball before Kenny could recover.
Got it into the 15. So Kenny Chadwick rambles 50 yards to put Fort Payne in scoring position inside the Scottsboro 50, inside the 20-yard line. They send Alex Igo to the near side. They put a wide out to that far side of the field, going to run his counter play to Darrell. Darrell found a hole, got into the end zone for the touchdown. Now, I don't know how he got through that hole, but he got there in a hurry, and Darrell Prater goes 15 yards for the touchdown.
You know, Darrell did a great job there of pausing him, and it did look like his route was covered, and Darrell just kind of waited for a second and burst through that opening, and touchdown Fort Payne. And once again, a extra point will tie the game up. It's maybe one of those games with whoever has the ball last will win.
Fort Payne goes 80 yards in 5 plays. Darrell Prater the last 15, but the big gain was a 50-yard run by Kenny Chadwick. Jonathan Sugar will try to tie it, and there's a flag down. And let's check this flag. And Fort Payne is backing up.
Looked like the line was a little unsettled.
Illegal procedure against Fort Payne.
Illegal procedure against Fort Payne.
The Fort Payne has come right back. Marched it 80 yards in 5 plays. So now Jonathan will have to kick up a 25-yard extra point to tie this game. Snap is there. Tate will put it up. The kick is long enough. The kick is good. A flag down. Check the flag, but I think Scottsboro is going to be penalized for a late hit.
Yeah, they were close to blocking
Dropping
that
the
ball.
kicker, but the kick will be good, and they'll penalize on the kickoff. Fort Payne and Scottsboro are tied at 21 apiece with 9:53 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Hit with a rough in the penalty on the extra point. Fort Payne will kick off from the Scottsboro 45-yard line. Look for the onside kick here. 9:53 to go. Fort Payne and Scottsboro are knotted at 21 apiece as the Wildcats took it 80 yards in 5 plays. Kenny Chadwick will kick it away. See if Fort Payne does onside kick it, or if Kenny just drills it into the end zone. Here's the kick, and he knocked it into the end zone. So they'll set up on the 20.
Yeah, that's about the worst field position Scottsboro started with tonight.
Fort Payne went 80 yards. Let's see if the defense can stop Scottsboro. Fort Payne has really not stopped Scottsboro all night long. Scottsboro fumbled on one play, and then on another place, Fort Payne stopped them on the goal line, on the 1-yard line on 4th down, and they got points out of every other drive. Now, here the Wildcats are to the line of scrimmage. See if they can have made some adjustments at halftime. Still those huge splits in the line there for Scottsboro. Look how Fort Payne is trying to fill those gaps now. And they're going to run their option play to the far side. Kept it himself. McNutt with a big hole. 20, 25, 30, 33-yard line. Well, Fort Payne hasn't made many adjustments, have they? McNutt went 13 yards on his first carry of the second half. 14-yard gain by the sophomore Drew McNutt.
Well, that play is working time and time again, Larry. You'd think at the half maybe they did a little bit of discussing that, but it didn't appear so on that particular play.
Nothing fancy, just faked to the dive play to the fullback, Crandall Strong, kept it off to himself, off to that far side, and picked up 14 yards on the play. Here is Scottsboro at the 34-yard line. McNutt is your quarterback in there again. He has Strong and Stewart in the I formation behind him, and somebody moved in there. I think one of the Scottsboro linemen moved.
Back to the play.
Scottsboro will be penalized 5 yards.
Illegal procedure against Scottsboro.
That'll mark it back to the 29. Penalties have not played much of a factor in tonight's game. At halftime, Fort Payne had 3 penalties for 21 yards. Scottsboro had 4 for 30. Back at the 29, it'll be 1st down and 15 for Scottsboro with 9:23 to go in the third quarter. We're tied at 21 apiece. McNutt, the quarterback, they still have those double tight end sets in there. Fort Payne coming up after him this time. Option play again. McNutt kept it outside and got about 3 or 5 yards out of it. Got the 5 yards. They were penalized. Somebody was hanging on to his foot. But McNutt with another 5-yard gain on that far side.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Dreyer a hold of him. Also, another guy, couldn't see his number and still hadn't come clear to me. But anyway, it was Dreyer and someone else that brought him down, and he does pick up the 5 yards they lost on the procedure penalty.
2nd and 10 for Fort Payne as they bring out Crandall Strong, put in Jason Utek. He had a big run against Fort Payne in that second quarter. They run that trap to Utek. 8:35 to go. And here's a 2nd down and 10 for Scottsboro. Scottsboro's going to run the quick trap up the middle, gave it to Utek, and no, kept it himself outside, got to the 40, 45, 50, and that is that sophomore again. He ran it across the midfield all the way down to the Fort Payne 46-yard line. Man, he is quick.
Finally, Brant Middlebrooks was able to bring him down as he gets into Wildcat territory at the Fort Payne 45.
20-yard gain on that play by the quarterback, McNutt. He had a big first half, and he's picking right up where he left off, and Scottsboro trying to take the lead again. Fort Payne is just helpless on defense to stop them. McNutt, the quarterback, runs his option play, gave it up the middle, and about 3 yards. Is the ball fumbled? I don't think so. I think they just knocked Utek down after he picked up about 3 yards. Fort Payne has stopped the dive play except for one play. They haven't slowed down that quarterback option all night long. Utek picked up 5 yards down to the 41 Fort Payne.
Defense just going to have to stiffen up here. I'd like to see us go ahead for once and let them try to catch up to us.
So here is a 2nd down and 5 for Scottsboro. They've run that option to the far side. Now they run it to the near side. Gave it to Utek, and he's going to dive inside the 40 to the 38. It'll be 3rd down for Scottsboro. 3rd down and about 2 or 3. but they haven't hesitated to go for it on 4th down tonight. They've converted 1 4th down play. Would probably go for it again if they miss it. He picked up 3 on that play. They mark it at the 38 of Fort Payne. 3rd down and about, I think 2. Quarterback is McNutt. Here's the 3rd down play. Fort Payne's defense needs to come up strong here. Double tight end set again. Fort Payne has 8 men in the box. Option play, and going to keep it himself. Got his 1st down as McNutt faked the ball to the fullback and kept it himself. Went to the 32. He is really, really quick.
Well, somebody's going to have to lay off of that fullback plunge there and stick with the quarterback.
He gained 8 yards on that play. They mark it at the Wildcat 33. 1st down with 6:46 to go in the 3rd quarter. We're tied at 21 apiece, but Scottsboro look like they're about to break that tie. A double tight end set with a single man to the far side. Option play to the near side. McNutt kept it. Got 5, got 10. He may go all the way. Chopped down as he got inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. As Darrell Prater knocked him down, but man alive. He ran that option play and got it into the 16-yard line. 17-yard gain.
Well, we haven't shown any inclination towards stopping this quarterback yet.
6:24 to go. Scottsboro driving. And clock is moving. McNutt, your quarterback. McNutt is just 5'10", 150. He ran his option play, gave it up the middle, and bouncing into the 10-5 and down to the 4-yard line. Will go Crandall Strong, or was that UTEC? That was Jason UTEC. UTEC took it into the middle of the Wildcat defense, and Scottsboro's 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. They mark it now. What are they marking? They mark him right on the 5.
It's on the 9. Well, no, they're picking the ball up. And you're right, Larry, again, just outside the 5. They had the other ball laying on the 9.
That's an 11-yard gain. So Scottsboro will take the lead here if they don't fumble. And they have UTEC in there at fullback. The quarterback under is McNutt. With 5:45 to go, McNutt will run his option play, kept himself, and just kind of dove into the end zone. They mark him. Is he in? He looked like he's in. They mark him on the 1.
Tell you, Larry, they seem to be following 74. That's Jay Penny to that right side, and he's just opening up some holes. So I guess we've been giving all the credit to the quarterback, but the line for Scottsboro has really been doing a fine job.
Penny, 5'11", 260-pound junior. And now, who called the timeout? Well, Will Stevens had to come running back here to the 10-yard line and pick up his mouthpiece. We hope that was his mouthpiece, don't we?
Well, we hope it was his.
5:14 to go. Clock is moving. Scottsboro at the Fort Payne 1, trying to grab the lead. We're tied at 21 apiece here. McNutt is your quarterback. He's already scored 2 touchdowns. Now he's going to give the ball to Stewart, and Stewart's going to walk into the end zone. Brian Stewart.
Well, the Scottsboro offense doing a good job of keeping the Wildcat defense off balance. With the quarterback keepers, a dive up the middle. This time they toss it back, and he walks into the end zone. Once again, Scottsboro's ahead, this time 27-21.
With exactly 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. So I guess you're right. Whoever has the ball last is going to win this one. And this will be Johnson to try to kick up the extra point. High snap. The kick is almost blocked, but he got it up, knocked it through. With 5 minutes exactly to go in the 3rd quarter, Scottsboro's grabbed a 28-21 lead. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. McNutt having a field day against this Fort Payne defense.
That's right, Larry. 20 carries, 162 yards with 2 touchdowns. So he's having a big night for the Wildcats of Scottsboro.
162 yards for the sophomore. He's outshining Darrell Prater. And here will be Fort Payne to try to answer this touchdown with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Johnson will kick it away. Johnson got a foot into it and knocked this one down to the 5-yard line where Anthony Thompson's going to catch it. 10-15 up the middle and found a little hole and got up to the 25, 26-yard line. Fort Payne will set up at their own 27-yard line where they mark it down, trailing by a touchdown, 28-21, with a little over 4.5 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter.
Well, this is about the same place we began our last possession, and Kenny went down inside to around the 10, then we scored, so let's see what happens this time. Scottsboro equally has been as inept at stopping us as we have them.
Fort Payne will send wideouts left and right. The quarterback under is Kenny Chadwick. And Chadwick will run his counter play. Gave the ball to Darrell. Darrell is 30. Darrell 35, trying to get outside. Got outside. Down to the far sideline, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. And he cuts it inside. He may go all the way. Darrell at the 20, 10, 15. Touchdown, Darrell Prater. There are no flags down, as Darrell Prater will go 63 yards for the touchdown.
Well, what can you say?
That's pretty good. He actually went 63 yards. 63 yards for the touchdown, and Fort Payne answers in a hurry as Darrell Prater goes 63 yards for the touchdown.
Darrell
scores his third touchdown.
Darrell now racking up some big yardage on his own.
That's 190 yards for Darrell, 4 touchdowns, 12 carries. He's averaging 15.8 yards per carry.
Sugar will try to tie it up. Snap is there. The kick is away. The kick is good. With 4:37 to go in the third quarter, Fort Payne and Scottsboro are tied at 28 apiece. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. 28 apiece. Darrell Prater having a huge night. He has close to 200 yards.
Almost 190 yards on 12 carries, 4 touchdowns for the Wildcats of Fort Payne.
4:37 to go in the third quarter, 28 apiece. Kenny Chadwick got his foot into it and knocked it to the far side. Going to be caught on the 1-yard line over there by Kenny Hill. Up this near sideline to the 15, up to the 20. Cut it back across the 15. He got knocked down at the 25-yard line. Kenneth Hill. So Kenny Hill's run back will put Scottsboro in business. And let's see if Fort Payne's defense can, and I'm not going to say stop Scottsboro, but let's try to at least slow them down.
Well, you get the feeling if either one's defense stops the other one time, maybe that'll be the difference in the game. So far, neither defense is doing very much toward doing that, though.
It knows it just across the 25. Let's call it the 25-yard line. It's about the length of the football across the 25 with 4:27, 4:29 to go in the third quarter. And here comes Scottsboro in that double tight end formation, one we have seen all night long. Drew McNutt having a monster night, kept it himself, now pitches wide, and down he goes. That had to be Fort Payne's Dreyer. Fort Payne came up there and knocked him down. He pitched the ball to Stewart, and he got buddied down. That had to be Dreyer.
No, it was Justin Garmany.
Wow, Justin Garmany.
Doing a Dreyer imitation.
Wow, knocked him down 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe that's a hit that'll fire up this Fort Payne defense. They mark it back, a yard back left side. They mark it from one side of the 25 back to the other side. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, 28 apiece. Here comes Hill to the near side. Second down and 11 for Scottsboro. Fort Payne crowd across the way getting a little excited. Running up the middle, not a whole lot there. They ran it in the middle. They ran Fort Payne, knocked him down right around the line of scrimmage. And the Wildcat crowd across the way getting really excited now. That was UTEC, I think, who ran in there for a couple of yards.
Yeah, they give him 4.
Third down, a big play in this game. It will be third down and 8 for Scottsboro. Ball marked at the 27-yard line. 3:25 to go, and here comes a big play for this Wildcat defense. Across the way, you hear that Fort Payne crowd. Option play, gave it up the middle, and he did not get his first down. They gave it to UTEC, and Fort Payne knocked him down. Dreyer was in there, but he got a lot of help from Brian Jones and also Dustin Hill. It'll be 4th down and 4. Scottsboro will have to kick it away tonight for maybe the first time tonight. 4th down and 4. Fort Payne has Darrell Prater deep.
Scottsboro will go for it, won't they? No.
No, they're going to drop Johnson back.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Johnson is going to kick it. Now they put McNutt underneath, and who called the timeout? I think Fort Payne wasted a timeout there. They had Johnson, their punter, deep, and Fort Payne wasted a timeout. With 2:45 to go, they were going to kick that ball away. They weren't going to run that option. And we'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Go for it at their own 32-yard line. But Coach Elmore wisely decided to call timeout and make sure that they had their defense in there they wanted in there. But they had Johnson lined up about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And if they go for it, I would be the most shocked person here. They still have Johnson deep. They're probably going to try to draw Fort Payne offside.
And we don't have anyone back.
McNutt is probably going to shift. They're going to run the play. Now they kick it, a quick kick. And Fort Payne has nobody deep. You're right. And got a break there. The ball didn't get much of a bounce. It'll bounce down to the 27.
How many times do you see Alabama do that?
Lately, not many.
Oh, yeah, back in the Bear Bryant
Bear
days.
Bryant days. They use the quick kick as a weapon.
Here is the first time tonight Fort Payne has had the football with a chance to take the lead. It's tied at 28 apiece. They've got to go a long way, but they've scored the last 2 times they've touched the ball, and it'll be at their own 28-yard line. 2:35 to go in the third quarter. Dreyer will go racing to the sideline, and they bring in, who is that in there? At fullback, that's Chris Mitchell in there, fullback for Fort Payne from the 27. And gonna give it to Darrell. Darrell's dancing outside, got up to the 30, got to the 30-yard line, and down he goes. Picked up about 2 yards on that play. Fort Payne couldn't block this linebacker out of the way here, and he came up there to make the play after about a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, they couldn't get number 21, Brian Stewart, out of the way. If they had him, he could have got loose on this sideline and picked up big yardage. Yeah, they'll give him almost 3 yards on the carry, so it's 2nd down and 7.
Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross to the far side, and they put Justin Pate on the near side. 2nd down, and we'll say 7 for Fort Payne from around the 30. Back to pass, the look-in pass, and Thomas Ross caught it up around the 40-yard line. He had a guy hanging all over and made a great catch up at the 30.
Great 40. Concentration from the Cobra on that one. It looked like he might have been hit a little too soon. Still, the Cobra hangs on, and another 1st down for Fort Payne.
10-yard gain and a 1st down at the 40-yard line with 1:53 to go. If Fort Payne can get this passing game going, I don't think Scottsboro is going to be able to stop them if they can keep the running the ball the way they have. And Scottsboro can't defend the pass and the run. They have 9 men in the box now. Kenny Chadwick is your quarterback, and Kenny Chadwick will give it up the middle, keeping himself on the option play, and going to pitch the ball on the ground, and that ball needs to get out of bounds. I think it got out of bounds before Scottsboro got it. Boy, that was not a good play.
Well, not a good decision by Kenny. Both the pitch man and Kenny himself was being knocked down in the process, and he decided just to let it go, and no one was there. Luckily for us, it goes out of bounds.
Lost 5 on that play. If they ran it into the short side of the field, if they'd run that ball to this side, Scottsboro would have probably picked it up and scored, but not a very good pitch there. It'll be 2nd down and 15 now for Fort Payne from their own 35 with 1:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. We're tied at 28 apiece. Fort Payne will send Thomas Ross to the near side. They line Heath Owen up in the tight end position on that far side. 2nd down and 15. Mitchell still in there at the fullback position. Going to fake the pitch, and they run his draw play, but Darrell Prater and them knocked down. Darrell got knocked down after a yard gain. That was that linebacker Green who came in and knocked him down.
Yeah, good job by Chad Green coming in and knocking Darrell off his feet. And a big 3rd, and well, we'll still say 15 to go.
Picked up a yard. It'll be 3rd down and yeah, we'll call it 15. Fort Payne's got to get to midfield for the 1st down. And it looked like that bad play really stopped Fort Payne's drive, unless they can come up with a big 3rd down play here. Scottsboro puts about 8 men in the box there to try to stop this play. 3rd down possession play. Chadwick will roll to this near side. Back to pass, straight back to pass, being flushed out of the pocket, and down he goes. He dove it back to the 35, lost another yard, and Fort Payne will kick it away.
Well, Kenny just simply ran out of time, had to try to make a little out of nothing, and at least we got the ball out of the shadow of our own goal, so maybe we can pin them back deep.
That rollout pass has been very, very effective tonight. That time they tried to go drop straight back in the pocket. Got a good snap, and Chadwick got his toe into this one, knocked it deep. It's going to go over the head of Hill, bounce it to the 10, bounce it to the 5, and goes out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Fort Payne has pinned Scottsboro deep inside the 5-yard line. A great punt by Kenny Chadwick.
Excellent job by Kenny. He didn't rush his punt. He had plenty of time. Good protection up front, and Kenny puts it out. They're going to mark it just on the outside of the 5. So on the 5-yard line, we'll call it.
5 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. We're tied at 28 apiece. Scottsboro is going to have to go 95 yards to grab the lead as Kenny Chadwick punt rolls out of bounds at the 5-yard line. But Scottsboro certainly capable of going 95 yards.
Fort Payne bringing Heath Owen there in the tight end position.
Playing defense for this Wildcat team. And here will be the pitch to Stewart. Stewart got to the 5, got to the 7-yard line, and got knocked down as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. At the end of 3 quarters, Fort Payne and Scottsboro are tied at 28 apiece. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Scottsboro in an offensive shootout here tonight, 28 apiece. Scottsboro will have it 2nd down and 9 and second down and 7 to go. McNutt, your quarterback, ran his option, kept it himself, got to the 10, got to the 15, got his first down. Wow, anytime they want big yardage, they just let little McNutt carry it, and he got it to the 10. It'll be right at that marker.
He may be a hair short. Let's see, Larry.
Picked up 6 yards on the play. The officials are looking across. They may bring those chains in. So they'll bring the chains across. Ronnie, you have any stats through 3?
Through 3, Fort Payne finally picking up big yardage on the ground. Of course, Darrell Prater, 14 carries, 193 yards for a 13-yard average, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 263 yards. Scottsboro with 312 yards. Of course, their leading rusher is the quarterback, McNutt, 21 carries and 168 yards, and I believe he just picked up another Scottsboro first down.
Picked up 6 yards to the 10-yard line. It will be another Scottsboro first down. That 15-yard line with 11:47 to go. Worst case scenario, Scottsboro drives this ball 95 yards and kills about 6 minutes on the clock. So here is McNutt to the line of scrimmage, and McNutt from the I formation. McNutt will run his option play to the far side, ducked his head, and got under a Fort Payne player and got up to the 20-yard line. Fort Payne had a chance to tackle him at the line of scrimmage, and he has ducked his head and ran under a tackler and got to the 20, picked up 5.
Well, that time he was in trouble and still picks up positive yardage. He is just doing a super job tonight as quarterback of Scottsboro.
Scottsboro has come from the 5 to the 15 already. And they have second down and 5. Fort Payne's defense going to have to come up with a play here. Look at those. Those splits in the line just keep getting wider, it looks like. Option play, kept it himself. Big hole, McNutt, 30, 32-yard line, 33-yard line. I think if I were this Wildcat defense, I would maybe key on McNutt.
You know, the only times really we've stopped him is a series or two where they went away from letting him keep the ball and handed it off. It's the only times we've been able to stop him. If I was Scottsboro, I believe I'd let him carry it on every play.
Picked up 17 yards on that play, 16 yards to the 34-yard line. Yep, I think I'd make somebody else beat me. McNutt is running wild. They started on their 5, and now they're already up to the 34-yard line. McNutt is your quarterback, 10:35 to go in the game. Ran his option play, kept himself. Now pitches to Stewart, and Stewart's going knocked out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage back at the 32.
That's just exactly an example of what I was saying. There is a flag on the play, though, Larry, although they were knocked out of bounds, and let's see what the call will be.
I think it may be a holding. The umpire threw that flag, and it is a hold against Scottsboro. So I'm sure Fort Payne will take the penalty. That will penalize Scottsboro back to about the 25. Maybe Fort Payne can't stop Scottsboro. Maybe Scottsboro will stop themselves. 10:27 to go in this game.
The game has been pretty much penalty-free thus far. Well, that's been one good thing about it. I guess you can't have many penalties when people are running 60 yards at a whack.
Jonathan Sugar will leave the game for Fort Payne, and Fort Payne will bring in Kenny Chadwick. They're going to step that off back to the 23. So actually, that is an 11-yard penalty. Penalized from the point of the foul, so to the 22-yard line actually, so it's a 12-yard penalty. Fort Payne, Scottsboro's got to get to the 44 for a first down. I would think that Coach Larry Morris is going to give the ball to his sophomore quarterback, let him keep it, and see if he can pick up the first down. Why not? He has been very, very effective. He has not thrown the ball tonight. He's going to run it up the middle, and Utek got about 2 yards.
You know, Larry, I just think that's playing into our hands. With the success they've had with the quarterback keeping the ball, number 7, McNutt, I just don't see doing what they just did on that play, especially when you've got to get 20-plus yards for the first.
Utek broke that same play a little in the first half for about 37 yards. So I guess they were hoping to break that one again. I think that McNutt's going to have the ball in his hands here for the next couple of plays. Second down and long for Scottsboro. Option play, he kept it himself and got knocked tackle behind by Dreyer. He started upfield, and if Dreyer doesn't tackle him, he may still be running.
Right.
They had a hole knocked in this right side of the Wildcat defense, and he would have run up this near sideline, certainly for a first down.
Well, leave it to Michael Dreyer. There I go. Did you hear what I called him?
His
Michael
name is
Dreyer.
Jonathan Dreyer.
Jonathan Dreyer to make the big play. And so that forces a big third and about 17 for the first down.
Picked up 2 yards on that play. Here is a huge play in the game. They got to get to the 43 for the 44 for the first down. McNutt will run his option play, kept it himself, trying to get outside, and he got tackled by Dreyer again at the 32. And Jonathan Dreyer came up there and just smothered him right around the 32. They'll have to kick it away.
Give credit to number 62, Dustin Hill, held him up long enough for Dreyer to come in and make the tackle. And for the second consecutive series, Fort Payne has held Scottsboro.
They held them, but they knocked off about 4 minutes on that clock. But that's all right. They stopped them. Darrell Prater is deep to get this punt. Johnson will kick it away. Darrell standing on his own 40. And Darrell Prater has run punts back twice this year. He has not almost over his head. Johnson got a low wobbling kick that's going to bounce. It bounces down to the 20, bounces to the 25. Darrell picked it up. Nothing but black shirt there, and he's going to have to outrun some folks. Got to the corner, got to the 30, got to the 35-yard line, and ran over a Scottsboro player. Now there's a flag in there, and flag laying about the 28. Late flags came in there.
Well, the Scottsboro fans were applauding the flag, so apparently they saw something that would lead them to believe this is going to be against Fort Payne.
I doubt it. Clip against Fort Payne.
These are knowledgeable fans.
Very knowledgeable. Fort Payne, instead of having it at the 30, they're going to be pinned all the way back to the 15. But, man, alive, you have to give Stephen Johnson credit. He hit a line drive end-over-end kick that took a huge bounce and bounced by Darrell. They don't want to kick this ball up in the air to Darrell Prater. Fort Payne's already to the line of scrimmage, but they're going to have to wait a while these officials step off this penalty against. Why would you even think about it?
Geez, we wanted it at the 29. They were coming up and wanted to take it there, but I think they're going to have to wait a while.
Step it back half the distance, and let's get started here, fellas. 8:32 to go in, 8:33 to go in this game. Now they finally get it back there. And
Geez, we got a fair to get to across the street.
That's right. They mark it back to the 15. Fort Payne's got to go a long way for the touchdown. But they have the capability. I'd like to see Fort Payne come out with that rollout run-pass option that was so successful on the first drive of this third quarter. 8:32 to go in the game. We're tied at 28 apiece. Fort Payne's got to go 85 yards for the touchdown, and Darrell Prater has it in his hand. Darrell got up to the 15, broke it outside, got to the 20, ran over a player, and got to the 26-yard line. An 11-yard run by Darrell Prater.
Well, that time Darrell did not just run into free open spaces. He plowed his way through Scottsboro to pick up that 12 yards in the first down.
They mark it at the 26. Clock not a factor yet. 8:23. Would like to keep this ball and run it down the field.
With that carry, Prater over 204 yards, 15 carries for 13.4 average.
And 4 touchdowns. So here is Darrell having a big night. 8:11 to go, and now clock has stopped, and they're going to send Stewart out of the game. The equipment problem. Yeah, maybe bleeding. Let's see. Anyway, he's, I think it's an equipment problem. They're working on his helmet.
They sent Ken Campbell in to replace him, number 15.
Fort Payne at the 26, their own 26, in the 28-28 game. He ran the option play, gave it to Darrell. Darrell found the hole, got to the 30, got to the 35-yard line. The Scottsboro people applaud. He's got to the 30-yard line as he only picked up about 3 yards on that play. Mark him at the 35.
Imagine that on a 3-yard pickup, and the Scottsboro fans are happy.
Actually, he got 4 yards out of it. Went from the 26 to the 30. Second down with 7:35 to go in the game. 28 apiece. The clock is running. Thomas Ross to the near side of the field. Second down for Fort Payne. Fort Payne has Chris Mitchell in there at the fullback position. And the Wildcats are going to pitch the ball to Darrell. Darrell looking for a block. Got it. The 30, 35. Up this near sideline. 40, 42-yard line goes Darrell Prater. He stumbled, or he might still be running, but he picked it up to the 41, first down. Another 11-yard gain for Darrell Prater.
Well, Brian Stewart got his helmet repaired and back in the game just in time to make the tackle on Darrell Prater, but he doesn't do it before he picks up another Wildcat, Fort Payne variety, a first down.
The Darrell Prater well over 200 yards now. for the night. With 7:06 to go, clock is moving. Fort Payne at the 41. They've come from their own 15. Under 7 minutes to go now. Heath Owen to the far side, and the wide side of the field is to the far side. Might be a good time to run that run pass option to that far side. Kenny Chadwick will roll the pass, run pass option, throw to Heath Owen, complete at the 40, 45. Heath is going to be tackled at the 46-yard line. Somebody knocked him up, knocked their feet out from under him, but the pass was complete.
That was Stephen Johnson.
Went from the 40 to the 41 to the 47, about a 5-yard gain. Fort Payne will be second and 5. Clock continues to move. 6:27 is all there is left in this game.
They're giving 6 yards, Larry, on the play, so it's second down and 4.
Second and 4. Fort Payne has wideouts left and right. Chadwick is your quarterback. And Kenny Chadwick will give the ball up the middle. Darrell Prater. Darrell got to the 50 and got knocked down. He didn't make the 50. He got to the 49-yard line. Fort Payne got a break that time. That fullback was in motion before the ball was ever snapped. No call. It'll be another third down possession play. They've got to get a couple of yards out of it. I think Fort Payne would go for it on 4th down here.
Absolutely. With 5:50 remaining in the game, I would have to think that we're now in 4 down territory.
They've got to get it across the 50. They're on their own 49. Got to get to the Scottsboro 49 with 5:38 to go. I think they're going to, like you, they're going to take 2 plays if they have to get this. Kenny Chadwick is your pitches to Anthony Thompson, who's in the Thompson, got across the 50 and is close to the first down. So Anthony Thompson in there at that tailback position, and they're going to have to measure, I think. Rogers says he got it.
Yep, I believe he has it.
If he didn't, it's within an inch. They give it to him. First down, another first down for Fort Payne. 5:24 to go in this game. We're tied at 28 apiece. Jonathan Dreyer in, replacing Chris Mitchell at the fullback position. Anthony Thompson will stay in there at the tailback position. Referee comes all the way over to this near side. I thought he was coming to the Scottsboro sideline, but he just comes over to start the clock. Fort Payne chewing up the clock, trying to move it down the field and get some points to go ahead. 28 apiece is the score. Fort Payne and Scottsboro. Kenny looks over that defense. They've got 8 men up on the line of scrimmage. And Kenny is going to give the ball to Anthony Thompson, and Anthony is going to get it into the 45. Picked up about 4 on the play, did Anthony Thompson. Hope there's nothing wrong with Darrell Prater. Now, Darrell is on the sideline over there chomping to get back in the game, I think.
Yeah, as much as he has been carrying the ball, I guess he was due a blow.
He's coming back in now, it looks like.
Yep, Darrell will come back into the game with 4:47 to go. And Fort Payne is doing what we wanted them to do. Move the ball down the field, kill the clock. 28 apiece. Jonathan Dreyer is in there at that fullback position. And Kenny Chadwick is your quarterback. Chadwick will give it to Darrell. Darrell looking for a hole, and he got knocked down. They came up there and knocked him down, and that was those 2 linebackers. I think Green and Massey came up to hit him right around the line of scrimmage. It'll be a big third down play for Fort Payne.
Yeah, making the main tackle was 54, John Lee, a 5'7", 190-pound senior. So for the first time in quite a while, Fort Payne's facing a big third down, 3rd and 7.
We're going to be under 4 minutes when they snap this ball. 4:03 right now. Thomas Ross to the far side, and here's a third down. They've got to get it to the Scottsboro 39 for the first down. Quarterback is Chadwick. Kenny Chadwick will run his option play, and Kenny Chadwick is in trouble. Now goes back to the far side of the field. Penalty flag. Chadwick is going to get his first down, but this one's going to come back. They got Heath Owen on this near side for something. And I don't know what they're looking at Heath holding against Heath Owen. That's a huge call. Fort Payne had the first down.
Boy, and that negates a great effort by Kenny Chadwick to pick up that first down as he dove the last 5 yards to pick it up. But it'll come back.
That bad thing about that, that's going to be, the penalty will be from the point of the foul, which is the 48-yard line of Fort Payne. So you're talking about a 15-yard penalty. That's the killer. Now you need a big play with 3:42 to go. All the way back to the 38-yard line. Fort Payne's got to go to the, now you're not in 2-down territory.
No, certainly not.
Got to get to the Scottsboro 39 for a first down. 3:42 to go in this game, and we're about to turn it back over to Scottsboro. Unless we can come up with a big play here. They put Heath Owen, the tight end, on this near side, and here's a big third down play. 8 men in that box for Scottsboro. They're going to come after him. Going to fake the reverse. Now throws their screen to Daryl Prater. Daryl to 40, he's at the 50, and down he goes. The last man had a chance to get him, got him at the 49-yard line. They stopped the clock, and now they start it back as he's well short of the first down. You have the ball across midfield. Would you fake it here with 3:13 to go? I think not.
You know, we got to compliment the Wildcat coaching staff on that particular call, Larry. That was an excellent call, and just came up short. Well, short's 10 yards in this case, but a great call, I think, by the Wildcat coaching.
2:58 to go. Who called this timeout? Scottsboro calls timeout with 2:58 to go. They wonder if Fort Payne's going to kick it. We'll be back for the finish of this one. It's a wild one right now, 28 apiece. We'll be back on the Wildcat Sports Network. Here, this one would probably go to the wire. All of these Scottsboro Fort Payne games do. It's tied at 28 apiece. 2:58 to go in the game. Fort Payne 4th down and 10 from the Scottsboro 39. Kenny Chadwick back in punt formation. Scottsboro will send Brian Stewart back around his own 5. I think you kick it here. It depends on your defense to stop it. Snap is there, and Kenny kicked it straight up in the air. Not a very good kick at all, unless he gets a great bounce. I think he got a bad bounce back to the 31-yard line. Didn't need that. It's a bad kick. He knocked it straight up in the air, and Scottsboro's in business at their own 32 with 2:49 to go.
What was that, around a 25, 30-yard, 25-yard kick?
Well, went from the 48 to the 32, a 16-yard kick. 31-yard line, so a 17-yard punt by Fort Payne will give Scottsboro great field position and plenty of time. They have 2 timeouts left. I need a turnover here. They haven't turned it over but once. And here is McNutt, option play to the near side, kept it himself. Now pitches to Stewart. Stewart is outside, and a great tackle out there. A great open field tackle by Kenny Chadwick.
Yeah, and he did it with one arm, too.
If he didn't make that tackle, Stewart's going to run down this near sideline, but he lost a yard on the play. They gained a yard on the play. 2:29, clock still moving. Right at the line of scrimmage. He didn't get anything, got less than a yard. Here's 2nd down with 2:19 to go. McNutt, option play, kept it himself. Now Pickies, the ball's on the ground, and Fort Payne may have it. They do. As Fort Payne got the ball, Anthony Thompson
picks it up.
That was a sophomore mistake. Drew McNutt has played a great game tonight, but that was not a smart play.
You know what?
He ran his option to the far side, and the pitch man was covered.
That was almost a carbon copy of what Kenny Chadwick did in the 3rd quarter when he shouldn't have thrown the ball. This time, the quarterback for Scottsboro should have never let the ball go.
Anthony Thompson, Fort Payne has it in field goal range already at the 24-yard line. Clock is at 2:12 now. Fort Payne's probably going to run Daryl Prater and see if he can score. If he doesn't, kick the field goal. Got to get out of here. And going to run up the middle. Dreyer. Dreyer is going to bust his way for 5 yards inside the 20 down to the 19, 18-yard line with 2:06 to go. First carry of the night for Jonathan Dreyer, and he got it to the 17.5-yard line. Picked up 7 yards on that play. Clock not a factor yet. Fort Payne has 2 of their timeouts left, so plenty of time to get something out of it. Win this game here. Fort Payne has Thomas Ross to the far side of the field, and Wildcat band across the way picking up. Kenny Chadwick, a minute 37, going to pitch the ball to Daryl Prater. Daryl got outside, got by a man, got it inside the 15, got to the 10, got inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. First down, Fort Payne. Daryl Prater with a great run. The Scottsboro defender came in there and had the angle on it, and Daryl just gave him a hip and got away from him, and Daryl limps out of the game on the far side.
There was a great block on that side by Heath Owen that sprung him.
But Daryl Prater is injured across the way, and he took it to the 13-yard gain there. This will be Fort Payne with a minute 21 to go. They give it to Anthony Thompson. Anthony 5-4-3 down to the 1-yard line goes Anthony Thompson. They thought he got into the end zone.
Oh,
and Anthony is still jumping up in the air. They mark him on the 3-yard line. That was Anthony Thompson. Anthony Thompson goes from the down to the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, and he picked up 4 on the play. And they mark it at the 3 with 57 seconds to go. Who called this timeout?
Fort Payne.
Fort Payne called a timeout. And with 55 seconds to go, Fort Payne trying to win it, leading it with a 28-28 game, 55 seconds to go. We'll be back for the finish of this one in just a minute. Back on the field, Scottsboro not there yet as they're down here gathered around their coaching staff trying to stop this Fort Payne team. The sophomore quarterback Drew Micknick in the lead.
Well, as we said, the one who has the ball last, I hope that doesn't prove true. Now the Scottsboro is going to get it back with 51 seconds, but a great gutsy drive by the Wildcats after forcing a turnover.
So that turnover is costly, and Jonathan Sugar will tack up the extra point. We hope he can kick up the extra point. 51 seconds to go in the game. Sugar will try to give Fort Payne a 7-point lead, and flags down. I think Fort Payne moved. Scottsboro moved across that line, but I think one of the Wildcat linemen moved, and Sugar's going to have to kick a 25-yard extra point, it looks like. You're talking to both teams.
If that's true, we're making it hard on Jonathan Sugar. That'll be the second time tonight he's had to kick it from further back, and the Wildcats of Fort Payne are moving back.
Prater has 5 touchdowns tonight. He scored 5 touchdowns last year against Scottsboro. He has now 14 touchdowns for the year. Jonathan Sugar will have to kick a 25-yard extra point.
236 yards to this point.
Jonathan Sugar will try to kick this very important extra point. Now, if it's good, the kick is long enough. The kick is on a flag. I think they roughed him again. The kick was good. It's 35-28, and they're going to get Scottsboro for another roughing the penalty.
Emery Massey once again.
Fort Payne leads it by a score of 35-28 with 51 seconds to go in the game. Let's just leave it right here. Fort Payne really played well this second half on offense, and the defense has played well. We said at halftime they need to make some adjustments, and they did.
They did make some. And, you know, I question a little bit some of the calling of the Scottsboro's coaches. Well, they kind of moved away from what was working for them at times.
Got away from Drew McNutt, who has almost 200 yards on the ground with 25 carries. He carried this Scottsboro team through the first half, and they kind of got away from it.
McNutt is an adequate passer. He's 10 of 28 for the year for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he's had 3 intercepted. Fort Payne will now kick it from their 45, and with 51 seconds to go, do you make them go 80 yards? I think you probably want to kick this ball high, and maybe if you can get under it, knock it down to about the 3 or the 1, and see what happens. Or
I don't know, Larry. Just don't give them a chance to even return it. Is what I vote for.
Kick it in the end zone?
Yeah, I vote for doing that.
Well, I think you're going to get your wish. As he knocked it into the end zone, that ball is through the upright for a field goal.
Yeah, give us 3.
I don't think we're going to get those, but Kenny Chadwick knocked it through the uprights, and Scottsboro is going to have to go 80 yards to tie this game.
51 seconds, Larry, and we go over and pick up ducks at the fair.
Yeah.
Let them guess my weight.
Yeah. 51 seconds.
Candied apples?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Scottsboro has 2 timeouts left, and let's see if they try to chunk the ball. Fort Payne has Darrell Prater, Kenny Chadwick, Anthony Thompson, and David Crabtree in the secondary. And David Crabtree on it, they're going to pitch the ball to Stewart. Now they give it back. McNutt's going to throw the ball downfield, and it is going to be incomplete. Fort Payne had that play well covered.
Well, a coach on the Scottsboro sideline screaming that he wanted interference, but I don't think anyone ever even touched it.
There wasn't any contact there.
That coach has been screaming all night.
44 seconds to go in this game, and 44 seconds stand between the Wildcats going 2-1 in area play with a huge game next week against Hazel Green. But let's wait these last 44 seconds. We've seen some strange things happen in these Scottsboro-Fort Payne games. Here is McNutt back in the quarterback, and McNutt is going to throw the ball. We whipped it across the middle. It is incomplete, so he caught it, but he's short of the 30, and the clock is going to run. He caught it on his knee, and that's the worst thing could have happened for Scottsboro. Now they got to call a timeout. We're down to 33 seconds to go. The pass was completed up to the 27 on the sliding pass to Hill, number 22, but they had to burn a timeout. They only have 1 timeout left, and Scottsboro had the ball and burned a very valuable timeout. 33 seconds to go. Do you run your option play and hope McNutt can get his first down, then try to come back with something, or do you fling it downfield?
I think you try to run something with Nutt, hoping to pick up big yardage and get your first down all in one try.
35-28 Fort Payne. They send Kenny Hill this near side. and they put a slot man, William Paulk, on this near side. Darrell Prater is picking up Paulk. McNutt is your quarterback, and McNutt is going to run his option play, kept himself, and pitch to Stewart. And Stewart's going to have his first down across the 30 to the 33, but we're down to 26 seconds to go.
Gary Wright came up to make the tackle. First tackle of the night for Gary Wright. It's a big one.
Give him a 6-yard gain up to the 35. They're going to try to stop the clock here, and McNutt is already under the center. The clock is started. McNutt, the quarterback, will just down the ball with 23 seconds to go in the game. 35-28, Fort Payne.
You know, really, if you look at that, why is that not intentional grounding? I know they do it in the pros, they do it in colleges, they do it everywhere, but why is it not intentional grounding?
Because they have a special rule in there that allows the quarterback to do that.
I understand that, but logically, to me, it's intentional grounding the ball.
I don't know. McNutt, option play, going to roll back to pass. He throws it to the far side. It's incomplete. Not a very good pass there by McNutt. It's third down and down to 17 seconds.
Good choice that time by Gary Wright. He had McNutt in his sights, could have really lowered the boom on him, and he didn't do it, knowing the pass was going to be incomplete, and we certainly don't need a roughing the passer penalty at this stage of the game.
17 seconds to go. Scottsboro's going to have to win it on the arm of McNutt. He's done a great job running this offense, and now if they're going to win it, they're going to have to win or tie it. They're going to have to tie it with McNutt. They ran the ball back up the middle. He didn't get anything, and they're not going to be able to stop the clock. Here they are. They got one timeout left, down to 15 seconds. They tried to run that quick trap in there to UTEC, and he picked up a yard. To the 36, Scottsboro burns their last timeout with 36 seconds to go. It is fourth down. Jonathan Dreyer will go to the sideline to talk to Coach C.M. Sanford. And Fort Payne is one play away from going 3-3 for the year and 2-1 in area play.
Well, the Wildcat defense has certainly stepped up. What is this, the third straight series that the defense has not really given anything to Scottsboro?
Fourth. It'll be the fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah. If they stop them here, Scottsboro scored the first time they got the ball to start the second half, and they haven't done anything since then.
Looks like y'all might comment. We commented all game on. Looks like to me what hurt the defense the most, the wide splits, the super wide splits by the offensive line of Scottsboro. That's what hurt more than anything else.
Yeah, it is. And the double tight end formation, I don't know if the coaching staff was expecting that, but that's that formation that's really hurt Fort Payne all year from Albertville and North Jackson. And Scottsboro came out in it and did a great job with it the first half. But give Fort Payne credit, they make some adjustments. Jonathan Dreyer may come after the quarterback. No, he backs off. But here comes Fort Payne, and they're going to tackle him in the backfield. This game is over.
Clay Dobbs in, also along with number 62.
And Gary Wright there.
Dustin Hill, Gary Wright.
So McNutt will lose 4 yards on that play.
8 seconds.
8 seconds to go. Fort Payne will take a knee one time, and this one is over. The Fort Payne will go to 3-3 for the year, 2-1 in area play, and Scottsboro will drop to 0-3 in area play.
And a big trip next week
to Hazel Green. A knee. Here is Coach Elmore's favorite play. Watch Kenny Chadwick take the snap, hit a knee. That's it.
And the Top Cat trophy stays in Fort Payne.
Top Cat trophy stays in Fort Payne where it belongs and across the way of the crowd is delirious. Fort Payne wins it. They knock off Scottsboro by a score of 35-28. We'll be back in just a moment to get this presentation of the Top Cat trophy. So we'll be back in just a moment. But once again, the final score, Fort Payne 35, Scottsboro 28. Knocks off Scottsboro by a score of 35-28. Look out there. This is impressive as the teams from Fort Payne and Scottsboro are all kneeling for a prayer. And this rivalry has been intense over the years, but great sportsmanship, and you see it again here. As both teams are out there, and the teams are both kneeling for a prayer. And I think they just did this on their own. Coaching staff didn't have anything to say about it. And
coaches would have been sued.
Yeah, that's probably right. The Fort Payne will get this Top Cat trophy in just a minute. The Wildcats will go to 3-3 for the year, 2-1 area play, and as we mentioned a little while ago, a huge, huge game next week as Fort Payne will travel to Hazel Green to take on the Hazel Green Trojans. And Scottsboro and Fort Payne still out there shaking heads, and Scottsboro has a whole lot more players than Fort Payne does, but Fort Payne's going to grab that Top Cat trophy and take it back to Fort Payne again for another year.
I guess Payne Hughes, formerly of the Times-Journal, now with the Daily Sentinel here in Scottsboro, will be presenting it to the Wildcats, second year in a row.
Yeah, he's out there, and they are going to get that trophy, and Fort Payne deserved it. Let's get some final stats here. Ronnie Roth, Darrell Prater with a huge night.
Big night once again for number 1 Darrell Prater. 21 carries, 237 yards, over 10 yards, 11.3 yard average, 5 touchdowns. Fort Payne ending up on the ground with 322 yards. On the flip side, Scottsboro, of course, their leading ground gainer was their quarterback, Drew McNutt. 26 carries, 193 yards for 347 yards, total yards on the ground. Fort Payne had 18 first downs. Scottsboro had 18 first downs. Fort Payne only had 9. Kenny Chadwick, the quarterback for Fort Payne, much better passing department this game. Chadwick, 5 of 6 for 57 yards. And we combine that 57 yards. Total offense for Fort Payne, 379. Total offense for Scottsboro, 355.
Fort Payne wins it by a score of 35-28. The Wildcats with a big win tonight go 3-3 for the year. And more importantly, 2-1 in area play as Darrell Prater is out there getting some interviews, but Fort Payne wins it by a score of 35-28. So big game next week at Hazel Green, so we need a big crowd out there to watch this team. Fort Payne, an exciting team on offense and playing much better on defense. Fort Payne wins it by a score of 35-28. For the entire Wildcat broadcasting crew, this is Larry Hancock bidding you all a very pleasant good night, everyone, till we talk with you next week from Hazel Green.